Okay, well, welcome. My name is Susan Brown, and I am very excited today. I have a friend, Sara, who is a sound healer, and I met her, and she shared some of her sound healing, and I thought it was amazing. It felt like angels speaking to me. So today we are having a chat with Sara. And she's going to be talking about what she does and how she does it, and maybe give us a little sample. So, Sara, nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's a real pleasure. And you said this is your very first one of an interview, and so I am delighted to be your guinea pig.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. So, Sara, could you tell me a little bit about like how you started and what got you into sound healing?
Okay, well, if I actually start with my story, for want of a better way of putting it, because getting into the sound is very much part of my healing journey. But I think to understand the healing journey, the rest needs to be understood.
Let's go back.
I think we're going way back. We're going back 61 years here. This is how far back we're going. Just before my first birthday, it was an accident. It was a pure accident. I was scalded by a boiling milk coffee that went all over my face, down my neck, and the jumper that I was wearing stuck to my skin. And I was just under a year old. My mother had been training to be a nurse, so she literally picked me up, run me under the tap, cold tap. Then the doctor's was gratefully just over the road. She ran me over the road to the doctor's. The doctor called the ambulance. And the result was I was hospitalized for 3 months. Now this was, so not only have I had the scalding, but also, and it was the jumper that had stuck to my skin that actually proved to be the big problem. And the causing of the scarring that I still have today. But the rules of the hospital at the time were parents could visit for an hour every other day. The reality was I got to see my parents once a week for an hour. Now they've discovered, obviously, in the meantime, the emotional damage and trauma that does to children. And there is no two ways about the fact that I was affected by that. I felt unloved, unwanted, not good enough, unworthy. Every negative word you can come up with, I felt about myself. And it was circumstances. It was not anybody deliberately trying to hurt me. But you cannot explain that to a child who spends her first birthday in hospital, because that's exactly what I was, a tiny child. I eventually came out of hospital. My parents had moved, so I didn't go home to familiar surroundings. My mother was also pregnant with my sister Gillian, and she had Gillian on the 1st of August, 1959. Gillian died 9 weeks later. Wow. So by the time I was 18 months old, I just felt totally rejected. Because again, it was circumstances. You know, she was originally classed as a cot death, so my parents were investigated. Bless them, what they had been through in that period with my scalding, mum's pregnancy. Then Gillian spent, of her 9 weeks alive, she spent about 4.5 of those in hospital. But she happened to be at home the night she died. And so the trauma they went through, I think they did do an autopsy and they discovered that it wasn't cot death and it wasn't anything. It was something I think the hospital had missed. So it wasn't down to my parents, which is a heck of a relief. They've been through enough.
Yes.
But of course, that left me really, really, really insecure. Yes, other things happened, and I don't need to go into all of that. I think that is the beginning place of trauma and of the feelings of rejection and insecurity. So I spent nearly 40 years of my life being a people pleaser. I was desperate for people to like me, but I never expected it to last. It was always going to be, oh, why did we like her? Oh no, she's not worthy of liking. It was just that people would wake up and realize that I wasn't, what they thought. But that was the insecurity in me. And so I wouldn't say boo to a goose. The insecurities were horrendous. They really were. And then my wake-up call came. The dentist broke my jaw extracting a wisdom tooth.
What?
And I didn't know it was broken for a week. Yeah, absolutely. It was just like, I was wandering around with this broken jaw. But, when I say it wasn't flapping, but it obviously, but, but it had been broken when he extracted the wisdom tooth. And eventually it was, I'm struggling to even get my toothbrush between my teeth. As for eating, it was sort of like nigh on impossible. And so eventually we went to the hospital, and the triage nurse's reaction was, oh, don't be stupid, dentists don't break jaws. You'll probably have a 4-hour wait. I said, I'm waiting. And they saw me, they x-rayed me. I couldn't even get my teeth around the grip that you had to bite. I just couldn't open my jaw to do it. And they came back with the x-rays. They came back with the x-rays, and it was broken. My jaw was broken. And the triage nurse came in to see me. And although she didn't apologize, she didn't use the words within everything she said, and she would never ever doubt anybody ever again if they said they thought their jaw had been broken by the dentist. So I'm sure there was a load of good that came out of it. Yes. And for me, there really was, because it resulted in eventually a 2-hour operation to try and put my jaw back into place, and then put the pins in to keep it in place as well. And it resulted in 6 months of pain and sleepless nights. I was exhausted. Nothing, painkillers, sleeping tablets, nothing worked. Nothing worked. But the pain, with that 6 months of pain and sleepless night and the exhaustion, came do you know what? I just can't keep all this up. I don't have children, which I'm very grateful for in that respect. But I was running a home. I was working full time. I was studying accountancy, and I was trying to be a people pleaser.
Just a few things.
Well, and none of those are little things.
No, they're not. Each one is humongous.
Exactly. And so it was just like, okay, fine. Something's got to give. And one of the first things to give was the people pleasing. Great. Although I did briefly stop the accountancy study as well. Okay. But obvious reasons. And the marriage did go in the end as well. But that was all part and parcel of the start of the journey, of taking me out of being where I shouldn't be. And I'd moved to where I am well, not exactly where I am in Bournemouth, but where I am in Bournemouth now in the UK. And it was just like, what can I learn to help me, to support me? And I thought, I can't learn massage. That doesn't work. I can't exactly massage myself. So, and then I went to a mind, body, spirit fair. And there was a lady there who was talking about a technique called metamorphic technique. And she shared a little about Reiki and an angel day. And it was just like, oh, I fancy going to the angel day, because I was raised a Catholic. So I've always very much believed in the angels. And
Angels are good.
Once I fancy the angel day. And then she said, oh, if you learn Reiki, the first person you treat is yourself. Oh, yes, please.
I'm in.
Something for me. And it was the same lady who was going to be teaching me that ran the angel day. So that was brilliant. And I then learned level 1 Reiki. It was just for me. That's all it was about. And 9 months later, I said, and I was using it. I really did use it on myself. It was really important to use it on myself. That's why I learned it. And 9 months later, I said, I'd like to do my level 2. And I knew at that point I'd go on, do my master's and teach, which I do. But it was also Elaine, my Reiki master, that introduced me to sound energy and toning. Toning the use of the voice. And I adored it from the word go. How can I use this? And I learned a technique called quantum touch. And when we learned quantum touch, we were told, and you could, and the lady who taught us knew very well that Elaine and myself loved doing the sound, the toning. So she said, and you can use your toning with it. I thought, great, a way of using the toning, the sound energy in what I am doing with people and supporting people. And don't know whether I ever did quantum touch or whether I just did the sound. I just called it quantum touch. It doesn't matter. I just called it quantum touch. And and I was training to do it. I did everything that I needed to qualify. I just never registered. I've got all the certificates, everything. I just never registered. But then I realized I needed to separate it. The sound energy was powerful enough on its own. I say separate it because then I realized that what I do is I bring a form of vocal Reiki. So not only do I channel the energy, the key energy, the universal healing energy, which is love, because to me, that's what the universal healing energy is love. I channel the sound. When I open my mouth and those sounds come out, that's not me. That is channeled. And I am channeling whoever, whatever is right for the individual.
Wow.
So that, and boy, has my life changed. If you think I'm insecure now?
No.
No.
Not at all.
So I'll stop there and give you a chance to get a word in.
No, that's amazing because we had spoke before, but I never knew the whole story. And it's you think about it's very interesting, from all our things that we're learning in our lessons and your jaw and now like you're speaking, because when you shared it with me, I really, because you say it's for individual people. So like I heard angels, I heard love. It was the most beautiful sound that I've ever heard. When you were singing or doing the vocal Reiki, like it was just beautiful and it was healing, and it was just, even I don't know how long you did it, but it was just amazing. I was like, it was like almost like your mother calling you, and she wasn't mad, she loved you. It was amazing. And it's interesting because I also studied Reiki, and I love the way you put it, because it's energy that's flowing through you. And I love how you have brought like the two of them together, because sound healing is so amazing. And I love when I hear it, when people do it, it totally switches your energy really fast. So do you use it like for people that come to you? Is there a reason? Like, is there a reason that they do it? Or if you could explain that to me.
I think there are a number of different ways, because I've used it on me for a start. You know, I've done this thing of falling downstairs, twisting ankles, all these sort of types of things. Well, yeah, come on, we do that. You know, we do things like that. I'm just very good at falling downstairs, until I realized that actually there's a past life thing that I needed to clear. So hopefully, touch wood, that's the end of falling downstairs for me. I've done that bit. I've done what I needed to
Learn
there.
that lesson.
Yeah, you know, I just felt falling
That-
downstairs way too many times, but no broken bones, just bruises. So no hitting heads. So I've been very lucky. My coccyx hasn't bouncing downstairs, but you know, but that's just, yeah, that's just part and parcel of it. But sometimes people, okay, when I first started using the toning and just the notes, just a sound, the pure sound that can come out, I was working on a physical level.
Okay.
So muscular, skeletal. Yes, I found that people were finding that it could go to organs and systems of the bodies as well. When I was working hands-on, I had one gentleman who'd been involved in a car accident. We were doing just tasters at an event, a fair, and he'd been involved in a car accident that week. So it was very recent. And all I did, the gentlest of touch, you know, there was absolutely no pressure. It was just a very gentle touch on his back. And I toned to his back. And this is the only reason I know what happened, because I had got my hands there. Because suddenly everything moved. All the bones in his body went back into place. And you know, he told the hospitals and the doctors he was uncomfortable. It was just like, tough, you're going to have to get on with it. Because his whole body had been jarred in this accident. And he came back and saw me a little while later, and he said, I feel better than I did before the accident. So to have bones move under your hands, but his tendons, ligaments, muscles hadn't had a chance to get used to the new position of things. So that, for me, yes, that was perfect timing, because it meant everything could go back into place and be comfortable much more quickly.
That's very interesting. And you know, it's when I hear you speak, even your voice, for me, energetically, is healing. It's like when you speak and the words come out of your mouth, I can feel that softness and that beautiful energy coming from you. It's amazing. It's, even though you're talking about something you do, it's still coming out of you. It's so beautiful. I love it because it's you. It's universal energy. But I think the point is when you do like work like you do, that it 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 just comes out of you. It's not like you're almost turning it on. It is you, you know?
And it's about the passion that I have for what I do. It
Yes.
is, and it is a real passion for what I do, because I have seen, experienced, and heard from people the, the effects that it has had on them. And although I try and stay totally detached from any outcome, which for me is really, really important, because I feel that gives all the power and that energy to that individual for what is totally right for them.
I totally agree, because it's like if you're trying to, you know, push energy or move energy, it's kind of like we're the vessels and allowing the energy to flow through. And what can be better than clearer energy and just coming from the heart and doing something that, like you truly love. So when we were talking the last time, and I think this is very important, because of our society and everything that's going on, and like early childhood trauma, that mostly everybody, I would say, 99% have had something that has happened to them during their childhood. And a lot of us are really working, at this time to release some childhood trauma or anything that has happened in our childhood. And most clients that I work with, I find this is where we're going. So you happen to mention that something about soul healing or something about working with the inner child, as I remember.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
small piece. So
yeah. And that is it. The growth from working with the physical body, and then as I grew with it, because there's no two ways about this is a technique, a way of working that has developed through me and my own journey. And I slowly realized that the sound energy could go way, way deeper to a cellular memory level. Because do I remember what happened to me? Do I remember the scolding, the 3 months in hospital, the death of my sister? I don't remember the birth of both my other sisters, because I've got 2 other sisters. I don't remember any of that. I was young. But mind you, I also blocked out masses of my childhood because I was such an unhappy child. Why would I want to remember it? But what I realized was that I can get at that deep cellular memory level, and I can help and support people to reconnect with their inner child.
that is
And
amazing.
for me, I'll try and put this as simply as possible. When we reconnect with our child and our child feels loved and cared for by us, receives the love and the cuddle that they really did need at the time and didn't get. And I will share a quote with you in a minute, if I can find it. When the child feels that love that they didn't get and realizes that they are loved, they are protected, then they start to heal. Because all they were really after was to feel heard, loved, and protected. And once they feel that, they start to relax. So all this time, you've got these traumatized younger self inside of you. And their traumatized energy, their insecurities, sits permanently within you until it is brought to the fore, acknowledged. The child is helped to heal. And every time I've worked with aspects of myself, I felt that confidence grow within me as the child has gained in confidence. And where is this quote? As traumatized children, we always dreamed that someone would come and save us. We never dreamed that it would, in fact, be ourselves as adults. Alice Little.
Oh my God.
And when I saw that quote, I thought, this is exactly what, with the toning, especially with the toning of the individual's name,
Yes.
I can help people to do. I've done it for myself. I do it for myself. Because I think what we have to realize is trauma is layers of the onion.
Yes.
Things happen. For me, the joy of a technique like Reiki, Vocal Reiki, is that the energy is offered and the higher self, the soul, the heart, whatever the intelligence aspects, whatever you want to name it, is given the choice of where that energy is taken. So it's not up to the mind and the ego. It's up to a higher level of ourself that says, right, you may be thinking about that, but actually this. So our priority could be whatever, And the thing that gets dealt with may be down here, but actually by dealing with this, you're supporting this.
Yeah.
There's a higher consciousness, a higher awareness that knows the order for things to be looked at, dealt with, that will be of greater benefit. So if I'd started with an older self, but did I need to start at my 1-year-old? Where did I need to start? Didn't matter. It wasn't for me to think about. It was for, and so when I say to people, to allow a memory to come up. Don't try and force it. Don't think, oh, it's got to be this. Just allow a memory to come up. Now, obviously, the taster that I did with you was just that, a taster. I don't go into anything like that with tasters because that can take things quite deep. And then it is really a matter of working through that so that, and I have watched people, so some people come to me and it's, can we start on the physical level, please, Sarah? Don't know whether I really want to go to the emotional level yet. The physical is just your body's way of saying there is something on the emotional level that is ready to be dealt with. And so I think practically every time anything physical has ended up emotional.
You know, that's true. It's like, you know, I know they do like it's like medical intuitives, like, so people who have, like, years ago when I was working at a restaurant, I had sciatica, and I had like, and I tried Rolfing and everything, but so this healer, she had told me, she goes, you know, the leg also talks about moving forward.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I was like, okay, I mean, I was walking around like hobbling. And I said, that really makes sense. So at that time, that's where I started my path, where I ended up selling my restaurant. And you know, my leg pain went away. And that's where I first started. I didn't know anything about energy. I was oblivious, you know, of all of that at that time. And yes, so that's very interesting. And also the part of you doing the work and not really like saying, okay, this is what we're going to work on, also allowing what needs to be worked on first, instead of getting yourself involved and saying, this is what it's going to be. Because even when I work with people, it's just that allowing piece. And then you laugh because it's kind of like, you know, okay, so that wasn't what I was thinking, but that's very interesting.
And I think it is, I've worked with trust from the word go when I've started with the Reiki. I don't feel anything, don't see anything. I will get a sense of knowing.
Mm, that's the most
And
powerful, you know that, I
oh,
think.
and it's plus the fact if I don't get anything at all, that's fine. I'm not meant to, because I can't then interfere in what's going on.
I agree totally.
And it's exactly what it's meant. You know, if I get some feedback, great. I love getting feedback because it helps me to realize that yes, I am actually supporting the individual, but I am a tool, I am an instrument.
Yes.
I am, yeah, I mean, in the introduction, you referred to me as a healer, and that's the one thing I won't call myself for that very reason. I can't heal anyone but me.
You know, it's very true, but it's so funny because we live in this world and everybody, you know, wants you, you know, and for me the same is like, you know, they want you to have a name. You need a name, spiritual mentor, like, you know, you need this thing. And I totally understand, and I truly believe that the same. That's why I think we connected in the first place, because we have a lot of like values, is because we are the instrument. And the best way to help somebody is for us to get out of the way.
Yes.
I mean, that's, if I could think, the biggest thing is, you know, that we get out of the way, allow spirit, angels, and everybody else to do the work. And like you said, it's interesting because when you're talking about the energy and going to like the root of it, the beginning, it's like I saw this person, like, you're getting deep to the heart, like you're going to the heart of the people, which is fantastic. It's getting to really the deep level of that, and I think that's amazing.
And I think a lot of us are afraid to find out who we are.
It's
Maybe that's
scary.
because
Oh,
of
it's
fear of,
scary to open that up.
because a fear of judgment. But do you know what? Having found me, I'm not letting Mia go again. Whoa, no, thank you very much indeed. I had nearly 40 years of that, and now it's my time. If I decide I want to do some crazy things, you can come and watch me. You can tell me I'm an idiot. You can do whatever you like, because I've abseiled off the water tower. I've done a wing walk. I've done the zip wire. I've
Wing
done
walk?
wing walk. Yes, you get
What's wing walk?
strapped to the wings of an aeroplane and it takes off.
Oh my. Okay.
That was a 60th birthday present from a friend. My request, not their suggestion.
Okay, that's a little. I don't know why. Maybe at some point I'll figure it out about being afraid of heights. I'm sure it's a past life, but that's
So yeah,
amazing.
I spent a year as a trainee handler with the wolves at the UK Wolf Conservation Trust. So I've been up close and personal with wolves. All of these things I would never have considered doing in my insecure years, because I would have been so worried about what other people thought. In fact, one of the first, the wolves, I think, I'm trying to think whether they came first. But when I said I was going to do the abseil off the water tower locally, my mother's reaction was, no, you can't do it, you can't do it. It's like, yes, I can. It doesn't matter what you say, I'm doing it.
Wow, that's amazing. I think that's a big thing that I learned years ago in my life was I was living my life for other people. And that was like my awakening. All of a sudden it was like, does anybody really care what I'm doing on my day off? It's like I thought, oh, I had to go shopping, I had to do this, all these things that I should do. And then I was like, nobody even knows what, and so that, like, broke out into, just like, what does Susan want to do? And but that's, in that sense, what you're talking about, it's very hard to do, to break out and be yourself. So with the sound healing, does that like help you open up your true self, or it does whatever you need it to do?
The suggestion I would make to everybody
Yeah.
is tone your own name.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Now, if you can't tone it, if you're worried about opening, because okay, for a lot of you, you'd think I was singing your name. It's toning. And maybe we ought to do something about a demonstration, because we keep talking about it.
Yes, I know. I'm like so excited, but you have so much information, and like just sharing with the wolves and everything else. I'm just so enjoying it that I'm just sitting here going, wow, this is great.
Thank you. So even if you aren't comfortable initially with really using your voice with your name, start by speaking it. You're not asking anything of yourself. You're not telling yourself off. You are just loving and honoring yourself. So, but I will go with the name. Okay, we're talking first name. We're talking the name your parents, especially your mother, called you as a child. Now, why do I say that? Because I was christened Sara Jane. No H on the Sarah because it's meant to be Sara, but no, I'm Sarah. Sara Jane. But I was Jane. That little girl that had all that stuff happen to her was Jane. But when I went to my second school, and there was other little things that happened, as I said, we won't go into all of those. When I went to my second school, which was in a totally different town, my parents had moved, so nobody knew me. I went into my new school and I told everyone I was called Sarah. One of the biggest enlightenments, light bulb moments that came to me was the only person who had ever rejected me was me when I changed my name from Jane to Sarah. I basically said, Jane, don't want to know you. Now, my Jane is very happy. She's very content. She absolutely knows how much she is loved and honored and acknowledged by me. I'm not saying there aren't little levels left in there, but
Yeah.
she's very, very happy because that's how I can be the way I am.
So when you first started, you used your name Jane then?
When I first started with the toning, it was, okay, but I have been Sarah for over 40 years,
oh, yes,
you know, and so
years.
it was honoring the whole. So my work, I say to people, yeah, please call me Sarah. Every now and again, somebody will call me Jane. And why, I don't know, but they do. And they don't even know me. We've had no conversation, so they have no idea, but they call me Jane. So that's fine. I have no problems with that. But for the toning and for my work, I say Sara Jane. But with the toning, when I do my own name, I do a mix of Sarah, Jane, Jane, Sarah, Sara Jane, Jane, Sarah. I mix it all up so that I'm honoring the whole of me. And when I've worked with people and they've said, I don't like my name, and it's just like, please, may I still have permission to do it? Oh, yeah, okay. You know, and it's
But there is something probably also deeper in that besides.
oh, absolutely. The energy of that being told off, always,
Yes.
yeah, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end, they've said, oh, that was beautiful. Oh, I'm so much more comfortable. I've had people who've changed their name, and I've really struggled to get permission from some of them to use the name their mother called them. And they've said, no, 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 please, the name. And I've had to stop. And I've said, that the energy is horrible. I said, yeah, that energy really is horrible. I said, please, may I have permission to use the name your mother called you? And I've had people say to me, I'm going back to my name.
Interesting.
That is how powerful, because I personally believe we choose our name.
So yes, that's true. I totally forgot about that. But so what you're suggesting for people that are watching is to start out and just
Start by speaking it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sort of. So if you're not comfortable with opening your mouth and toning, and so I think it might be at this stage, if it's all right with you.
Oh, I'm waiting.
Of the toning, so that people get a sense of that.
Yes, that would be amazing.
But what I would like to say, please, folks, because this is electronic recording, it isn't about what you hear. Sometimes I listen to the playbacks and I think, well, where's that sound gone? You know, or it isn't about what you hear, it is about what you feel. Feel the energy of it. And so what I'm going to say is, please, okay.
Excellent.
So relax. My suggestion is eyes closed. You have roots in your feet. Let them go down into Mother Earth, deep into Mother Earth, anchoring into Mother Earth. Mother Earth is sending her love and her protection up through your roots, into your feet, up into your legs, your whole body, totally surrounding and protecting you. How did that feel?
Mm. Beautiful. That was amazing. It's very interesting. Like I heard it go in and out, and it was for me, like my experience, it was like I saw this like big heart like this, and it just like came right into my body. It was beautiful. It's like, and just even making that heart, I felt the energy with my hands, just bringing that heart back into myself.
Well, when I sort of ask people to put their roots down and I sort of talk about the energy from the love and the protection coming up from Mother Earth, sort of I do that as obviously I'm sort of bringing that energy up, if you like. And then it's just like, okay, and I bring my hands round in sort of like that heart shape, sort of and back down to heart, because it's totally surrounding and protecting you. So, even if people aren't watching, that is what I am doing.
Well, I wasn't watching. I was deep in it. I was just like, thank you, Sarah. I am enjoying this fully just as much as I enjoyed when you toned my name, which totally blew me away, because it's nice to, be connected with somebody that, is really connected and is open and shares. So that's really beautiful. So when
If I
yeah,
do a little bit of your name, just so that people can get a sense of the toning of name.
I would
If-
love it. I'm not saying no.
Because obviously, it's great. You've got 2-syllable name, Susan. So it's brilliant. But if you've just got, I say just got Jane. Hey, I'm a Jane. I am not. I remember one time somebody saying, and I said, just Jane, and she took real offence at that, and it was just like, no, I don't mean it like that. This thing around Jane. What is it? Jane's. I'm a Jane, and I am very proud of being a Jane. So, but it's obviously Jane would be something different. Maybe I can just do a tiny bit of that, not necessarily for me, just to show people that you use the syllables of somebody's name when toning. But obviously, if you've got a single syllable, then it's slightly different, but it doesn't stop you from doing beautiful things with it. So just do a little bit of Susan, just to give people
Thank you.
a feel of name. Susan, Susan, Susan. Short and sweet. You take it. I'm just going to do a tiny bit of Jane, just so that people can get a feel.
Very good.
So, Jane, Jane, Jane. So that you can still do things with your voice, whether it's multiple syllables or single.
That was beautiful. It's very interesting because now I understand when you're talking about the layers and everything. Because from when you did my name for the first time and then you did my name this time, it was for me this time, it was very grounding. It's like, okay, so what do you need, or what do you need at this time? And that was perfect, and it was beautiful. Thank you.
My pleasure. And that's just it. This energy can touch at the level that is right for the individual. And that I have had many people, because I'm very upfront, open about this. You know, when I work with this energy, is absolutely, I can help you reconnect to a traumatized aspect of you. And as much as I'd say inner child, that could be you of this morning, or yesterday, or last week, last month, last year. It doesn't have to be literally a child.
Now
It
I
is,
understand.
it is your younger self. And, you know, I was that many hours younger this morning. So, you know, I am definitely my older self to myself this morning. Um, and that, and that's what I think is really important, is this, it's about what and where and when. And there being a higher aspect of yourself that says, yes. But I think a lot of the older aspect experiences can hark back to a childhood experience. And that I know from something that has happened to me on my journey fairly recently. That failure of feeling heard. And when you don't feel heard, and so I didn't feel heard in hospital as a baby. You know, I desperately wanted my mum and my dad, and
Yeah.
they weren't there. That wasn't their fault. You know, and then when the broken jaw occurred, you know, my husband picked me up from the hospital, gave me a bowl of soup that night, and then from the following day, it was just like, okay, fine. So you've got a pin in your jaw, you can't chew at the moment, you're all right, you can get on with it. I wasn't being heard.
Very interesting.
And but was it the adult that was feeling that, or was I at that stage? Actually, it was really my little child, my little Jane, saying, this is exactly how I felt. I'm not being heard. But I didn't realize that till a few weeks ago. That cropped up on my healing journey only a few weeks back.
Well, you know, and I think you put an important point there. Is most people think, you know, I will be spiritually aligned, like, you know, like you get to a point and, you know, everything is fine. It's not really. You know, we're all here on a journey, and as you move forward, as you know, things have happened in my life, you know, you're always learning and learning new things. But it's interesting. So not being heard, and just thought, and sound healing and Reiki, and, you know, like, not being heard, and now you're using your
Yeah,
voice.
yeah.
It's, I mean, it's so profound. As I'm listening to you, it is really so profound. I love it.
But I wouldn't change anything that happened in my life, because I couldn't be here doing what I'm doing.
Yes, so true.
And and as I believe we choose our name, we choose our experiences. Therefore, I knew exactly what I was doing when I chose the experiences that I had. And gratefully, my choice was to be a people pleaser rather than angry, because I could have ended up something horribly bitter and twisted from that experience.
Yes,
You
that's
know, PTSD has been there forever and a day. You know, that's what shell shock was, PTSD. It's just that they've now called it post-traumatic stress disorder. That little baby, what did she go through? And I can't tell you, one, I was too young. As I said, I've blocked out memories for years in my life. My family, my sisters, you know, well, dad's no longer with us, bless him, but, you know, they can talk, my mum, they can talk about things that happened. I think, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. A friend said to me not so long ago about, oh, I can go back through my diaries and I can remember this, that, and the other. And I said, I don't remember. And he looked at me, but come on. And I said, why would I want to remember a time when I was so unhappy?
so.
And he
Can
just
I
looked at me
ask you one
and he said,
question?
good point.
One question on, so when you're working with people on the sound healing and the Reiki, the voice Reiki, um, are people remembering things that they go through? Is there some kind of awareness of blocks?
I
Is
don't think it's necessarily awareness of blocks. It's I do encourage people just to allow a memory.
okay.
And it there are times, whoa, I haven't thought about that for years.
Okay, that's what
You
I
know, and other times, wow, I'd forgotten all about that. You know, there've been, even sort of in the very early days when sort of experiencing name and sort of people, you know, and even to an element with the Reiki, it was, wow, that brought up this thing that happened. And if that's the support that helps them to reconnect to the inner child, but what I think we all have to remember, and it's the encouragement there, is it is up the child aspect of us to come to us.
yes.
It is not for us to try going to the child. Depending on what the child has gone through and how they felt about it, as to how much mistrust there is there. And that includes of our older self. If you know,
Right.
it really does. Because what have we been through that, you know, our traumatized child was looking for somebody to come and save them. You know, yes, that's what you're doing now. So whatever inner child your work you're doing, whether you do anything with me, whether you do, because since I started talking about inner child is everywhere. Everybody has suddenly understood the importance of the inner child. Brilliant.
It is. It seems to be
Essential.
it's also the year of everything coming out. So, you know, and it makes sense, but people are starting to also share, you know, because nobody knew anything was any different. So there's a lot of things going on there that, you know, we didn't share if something happened, you know, in our childhood, that it just wasn't right. You just didn't say anything. So now people are talking about it. That's why when we spoke the first time, I thought it would be amazing to chat with you and have this conversation, because I feel it's something that's very needed. And I thought your energy was beautiful. And it was just, okay, this needs to be put out into the universe. So if I could, how could people get a hold of you? Like people listening, what would you suggest to?
Okay. I have a website, vocalreiki.com. It is that simple.
I like simplicity.
Oh, so do I. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. It's KISS, isn't it? Yeah, sort of kids. No, absolutely. I'm great. And on that website, you will find there are some videos of sound baths. You know, all the videos, they are free. You know, go and help yourself to those videos of sound baths. Go and experience them. Yes, you know, where I've got links to talks that I've done, you know, and hopefully this one will be up there as well.
Of course.
I've got all the talks, interviews, etc., that I've got recordings of, that I'm given access to, I share on there. I also share, I'm trying to think on there, I'm sure so there are some meditations on there as well. Go and enjoy those. What I've also discovered in the last couple of years is that not only do I channel Reiki and the sound energy, I can also speak what some people call light language.
Oh, yeah.
I refer to as our soul language. It feels right for me that it's our soul language. And our heart is our connection to our soul and vice versa. And our heart and our soul understand it. Now I'm starting to hear that there might be people who can translate it and know what bits mean. Not being funny, I don't even want to go there, because while the mind and the ego cannot translate it, it cannot be misinterpreted and distorted. Well, the heart and the soul can feel the energy of those words. And believe me, I have no idea what I'm saying.
I really like that. I think that's very true. It's very important to Not to.
And as with the sound, it touches us at a much deeper level. And remember one person saying, "Oh, that's been filed away for when I'll need it." And I thought, okay.
Okay.
They had no idea what it was, but they knew that it had been put where it was going to be needed. So if it was a piece of inspiration for a later date, for something that was to come up in their life that they would then have the answer to, whatever, I love it.
Yes.
And people have just felt an energy from it. It doesn't, so I'm quite happy to do a brief message if you'd like me to.
Sure, we have a few more minutes. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
and there are I share 2 a month of those, so there are lots of the
Oh,
soul language
check it out.
messages on the Vocal Reiki website as well. So, all right, eyes closed. I would suggest relax. Ponchere anta kankaromui kai tiamakata. Polerana I miosh teamai ti kioyaya. Porantai I ikiomore ai ichini osistika. Pentara oki achai ikinioko. Irloi in iapa arano I ishtanai kikiayaka. Imne turemeka. Irnoi I naishta anai niki I ikiaya. Irloya pitarane ikiakia mushti inieki. Il norea na and che iti ai no te kiki ai. Imne che neete korone iniam poranata I kayashtomoni tiki. Ore nai ki aro mo I anta eron no chai ki ma konte kante komuchi aiki. Namaste.
That was beautiful. After you speak, I just, sometimes I feel like I just want to take a nap. I'm just like just this sense of peace is beautiful. I mean, even just, it's amazing. Thank you. That was amazing. You do some amazing things. And so I hope that everybody that is listening to us, they really take a look at her. It's vocalreiki.com. I have it written down. And you also have Gift Healing TV also?
Gift of Healing TV. Again, that's all one word.com.
Okay.
And you're going to be joining me on that. So
yes, next month. I'm excited.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. So I'm going to get a chance for you to share with us, which is great. So no, Gift of Healing TV. There are meditations, exercises, interviews about different techniques and practices. It's all about health and healing. And again, growth, sort of inspiration, thoughtful nuggets and pearls, and everything on there again is free to listen to. I also, I affiliate with some other programs and bits and pieces, summits and things that happen. They are initially free to listen to. What you choose to do beyond that is up to you. With all the guests on the programs, everything is free to listen to. What you choose to do beyond that, again, is up to the individual. But I like the fact that initially everything is free to give you the chance to think, what feels right for me? Now, what do I choose to do with that?
Wow. Well, Sara, thank you very much. It's been beautiful. I've really enjoyed chatting with you, and I hope everybody else has enjoyed. And it will be posted. So everybody just write your comments, see how you felt after her voice Reiki. Oh my God, just amazing stuff. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. And I hope people have enjoyed the experience.
Oh, I did. I thank you. I'm ready to start my day. Thank you.